to America and producing them here. What were the differences? Did you have more freedom at one place versus the other? Was the style of engineering and production different, did you find?
No. Freedom, there was complete freedom in both cases. Because, I mean, I was head of A&R for the label. If anyone was going to interfere, it would have been me, would be interfering with me. But the records themselves are incredibly different, but not because of the location of the recording. In both cases, I had an excellent engineer and a great studio and could do whatever I wanted. The difference was, on that first album, I was determined to make people take James seriously. My concern was they're going to go, oh, it's another long-haired folk singer. There's a bunch of them who've seen it, done that. So, if anything, I think I ended up kind of overproducing the record slightly because, as you may remember, for those of you who heard it, there's a string quartet on this track and some brass on this track and a percussion break, little links between the songs and all kinds of clever stuff that I was trying to do so people would go, oh, I should listen to this, it's different. And maybe in retrospect, I think perhaps I overdid it slightly. So, but I still like the record, and James sounds so incredibly young. He sounds about 10 years old, it's amazing. But then by the time we did the second record in America, first of all, yes, I was excited to be doing it in America because we all thought American records sounded better.
What studio did you use?
Sunset Sound. An engineer called Bill Lazarus at Sunset Sound on Sunset Boulevard. We would rehearse in my house every day, because the first thing I did was cast the record, as it were. I still hadn't found my ideal bass player. I found, just after we made the album, we found this bass player called Lee Sklar, who I was lucky enough to have playing in my band, if any of you saw a couple of band shows, who then became James Taylor's bass player for many, many years. He's a genius. But hadn't found him before Sweet Baby James. I found Danny Korchmar, who was James and my friend. He was going to play guitar. By this time I'd met Carole King. And as soon as I got to LA, she was one of the people I really wanted to meet. And not only that, but I'd heard Carole King's demos of her songs, the version she'd done of all these classic songs before they got recorded. Screen Gems had all these demos. And I loved her piano playing. So I'd said to Carole when I met her, look, I'm a huge fan, blah, blah, blah. Would you consider playing on this record I'm about to do with this unknown singer-songwriter? Because I think your style of piano playing would be perfect. So she agreed, and she came up to my house the next day, met James, and they started playing together, and it was magical. So she was going to play piano on the album. I found a drummer called Russ Kunkel, who was an amazing drummer who went on to become the studio guy in LA. At this point, he'd never been in a recording studio at all. He was playing live in Jon Stewart's band. I know this is a little convoluted, but Jon Stewart is the man who wrote, which one? No, Jon Stewart wrote the Monkey song. Daydream Believer. I'm not allowed Daydream Believer and I'm a Believer. One's Neil Diamond and one's Jon Stewart. But yeah, Daydream Believer was written by Jon Stewart, coincidentally. I went to a Jon Stewart rehearsal, someone introduced me to him, heard this drummer, or Russ Kunkel, thought he was great, and booked him for the session. I said, would you come play on this James Taylor album? And Jon Stewart held it against me forever that I'd stolen his drummer, which essentially I did. Because after that record came out, Russ became the most in-demand drummer in LA, and couldn't go on the road with John anymore, because John couldn't afford him. So, John was a little pissed off about that. But, and that was the band, and so the second record we did very simply. We rehearsed 3 songs in my house in the afternoon, went in the studio at night and cut them. The album took a week, cost $7,000. And we actually felt guilty because, you know, with the deal I made, this is more than you wanted to know, I know. The deal I made with Warner Brothers was that we got $20,000 up front and $20,000 when we delivered a finished album. And we got the money up front, which we spent. We had no money whatsoever. So we spent that, you know, stuff, and we had rented a house and all this. And we actually felt guilty when we got the record finished for only $7,000. But we'd run out of money. So we really needed to deliver the record and collect the back end, as they call it. And James came to me towards the end of the recording and said, I've run out of songs, I haven't got anything else to record. You know, we can't finish the record. And I went, but you were working on these 3 really cool tunes, you know, let's finish one of them. And he went, well, I've been trying, but they don't seem to be one to get any longer than they are. They're all just fragments. So I said, can you play them to me? So he played me the 3 separate fragments. And I said, they're all great, so just string them together, you know, join them up. he did. He tied them all together, and Joni Dimsdale's song, I Have a Name, because he said, well, what do we call it? And I said, well, we're stringing them together so we can collect our $20,000, so call it Sweet for 20G. So if you look on the record, there's a song called Sweet for 20G, and people have ascribed all kinds of mystical meanings to it. It was just about collecting our money.